Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. If you are, I'd love it if you'd subscribe down below and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new video. If you are new here, my name is Dominique Dacres. I am a first-time mom. I just had my baby on April 27th, and this is going to be my labor and delivery vlog slash story. So let's just get into the video. Hey guys, good morning. So today is April 26th. It is my due date. It's my due date.
The date of due.
And we are on our way to the hospital because I'm getting
McDonald's.
Well, yes, we're stopping at McDonald's for breakfast first, and then we're going to the hospital. I'm getting induced today.
The induction of the Hall of Fame.
Is that what it is? The Hall of Fame? I'm wearing my Aaliyah shirt because it's only right.
I'm wearing my Rebel shirt. I'm a Rebel.
You are. That's why you keep interrupting me.
I'm not interrupting you. I'm adding on to what you're saying.
Okay. I'm not nervous. I told people, I said I don't know if when I'm actually in labor, if that's when I'll actually be nervous. Maybe because I know the lady said like it may take up to 12 hours before anything happens. I don't know. Huh?
Hell, I did be.
Please don't.
I know how to play.
You have to play with people's nerves.
Okay. Have you had one before?
Yes.
You have?
Yeah.
So we do 10 seconds each nostril. I don't know how you've had it done before.
It was the one that I had to do it myself.
You gotta do it yourself, yeah. It's hard doing it to yourself because you're like, you're the one causing your own
pain.
Alright, I'll get you a little thing because your eyes water out.
Okay.
Then the doctor will come in and they will scan your belly, make sure baby's like still head down, all those fun things. And then once baby's confirmed head down, then you can like have them in the uterus.
Okay.
So you tilt your head back. Take a nice deep breath. Do you want me to count down before I do it? Okay. Deep breath in. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good job. Take a breath. Yeah, I know. Wipe your tears if you need to.
It's okay.
Okay, second one.
Okay.
Deep breath in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good job. You are done. So you got the worst part out of the way. You can handle that. The ease that you just did that with, I think you're going to do great.
I think I don't want one.
No epidural?
No.
All right. We also, do you know what you want to do? We have like nitrous gas. We have IV pain medications.
I'm open to the pain medications. Just like you guys can suggest the one that you think is best. Just like explain if there's any pros and cons.
Okay.
I have my birth plan. I don't know if you're the person I give this.
Yeah, you have it. Because we'll have a copy.
Can I get that folder, Kevin? The pink one.
You have 2 visitors. They can rotate, but the visitor, if you're rotating visitors, there's 2 in here, and you want someone to like rotate. Somebody has to leave before that person can come out.
Okay.
And then we don't allow video recording of photos of staff.
Can I even see it? Where is it? It's right here.
That's
There's my IV.
Yeah.
I know. I was trying to show it on the camera.
You trying to see people who dehydrated?
I'm not dehydrated. Anyways, I got my COVID swab. She drew blood. Did you hear them say I have good veins?
Yeah, I heard say that.
So that just tells me the other lady didn't know she was doing. I don't even know how many tubes she took. And they said, I said, I don't even know how many tubes she took. I think it was like 4.
Oh, this is beautiful.
She said after the doctor comes in and check that the baby's still head down and everything, then I can have like water or juice or whatever. Alright guys, so update. We still have the IV and the other one is my... Yeah, you want to go look at it? That is my Pitocin right there.
What?
Pitocin. So
I'm not your person?
you are my person, of course.
So I'm talking about that Pitocin over there.
Okay. They inserted the cervical ripening balloon and my water broke. So there's that. Do you still think she's coming tomorrow?
That's why I put in my close friends.
They said that because it broke right away, that means it was ready anyway.
Sound like she just up.
So like she get it from you. Oh. So yeah, it's definitely a weird feeling when your water breaks. Like I feel like I'm peeing myself.
That's what everybody says.
Like a lot of pee. Yeah, I had to change my gown, mesh underwear, pad, everything because it was so much fluid. And they changed my monitor. Now I have this one. They gave me a cordless one. Yeah. So yeah, they gave me a cordless monitor so I can walk around and do stuff and everything. And the Pitocin, they only give it to you in doses of 2, so it's like not a lot. And I was already having contractions, and so they're gonna be more frequent now before they get stronger. But it's funny because they can see when I'm having contractions on the screen and they're like, you're not reacting, whatever. But yeah, so far so good. They're gonna get me a birthing ball. I can't use the tub because I'm being induced, so they gave me warm, what are those called, heat pads and stuff. So, and they said if I want to use the shower, I just got to cover the monitor. These angles are so terrible, just not flattering. It is currently 12:54 and they put the balloon in at 11 and it's already out. So it didn't do 12 hours, didn't even do 6, didn't do 3 because it fell out at about 12:45. And then I had the doctor check on the ultrasound that the baby was still in a good position and fluid looked good or whatever, even though my water did break. And I did end up losing more water. It just keeps coming, girl. And then when the balloon came out, there was more as well. Still having contractions. They are more frequent, but they're also more intense. It says that it's at a 6 for the Pitocin right now. So we'll see how it goes. And Kevin just went down to get some food. And I'm just having water, and they gave me a popsicle earlier. And I can have more popsicles, so I did ask for more. So the nurse went to get me some. Alright guys, so it's 4:15. I have not been on here in a while. There's Kevin over there. So I'm just checking in to give you guys an update. For a while they just had my Pitocin at 10 and they weren't gonna increase it because my contractions were like pretty consistent and like doing whatever. I'm getting a new thing. Well, I got a new thing of IV. And then my Pitocin is now at a 12. And these contractions are... I still have not gotten anything. Like I haven't done laughing gas or anything because I don't know. I just don't think it makes any sense. So we'll see if I end up changing my mind. I haven't updated you in a while. I don't even remember what's the last thing I said, but I ended up getting Nubain, which is like an IV thing. A medication that they put in your IV to help with pain, and it also makes you sleepy. It definitely did make me sleepy, like almost immediately. As far as the pain, I would say it only helps for about 30 minutes, and then I'm feeling the pain just as much as I was before, if not more, because the contractions are even more intense and I'm feeling pressure. I got checked not too long ago, and I am 5 centimeters dilated, 80% effaced. Before that, earlier I did throw up. Honestly, I think I threw up because I'm hungry. There's no food in my system, and I had chugged a really cold apple juice to try and get my sugar up or whatever. But yeah, no, I'm just here waiting. I requested some ginger ale. I'm gonna sit up. Even though the medication is still like, the drowsiness is still there, it's not really doing much for me in pain. They cut my Pitocin in half, so now it's at a 7 because it was at a 14. and I was having consistent contractions and stuff. Jordan is here now, actually. And another thing is that the people that I've been talking to all day, like the nurses and doctors and stuff, they all left. Their shift has ended, so now I have, excuse me, a different set of nurses and doctors and stuff. I'm not gonna lie, the nurse that was with me this morning, I low-key wish she was gonna be here the whole time. I really did like her. She made me wish I had done like nurses baskets so she could get one, because she was really nice. And then this one that just started, well, not just, but the one that replaced her, I don't dislike her, but you know.
Oh, I know. But they're gonna give you a second of the cord. You're gonna cut all the way through with little gunners.
So you're gonna cut right in between here. One more.
Perfect. Nice job.
Yeah. Alright, we're gonna move her up to your chest. Get this poopy stuff up. Now pull on the top of your gown.
Did you the other? Oh, the other gown.
Your arm will go, sweetie pie. There we go. Put her in here. Stays warm. So grab a hat for her.
That's when I'll switch out with you.
Just a sec.
Look at that hair, that head full of hair. You did so good, Mom.
Okay. Get a hat on her little head.
Guys, so we have relocated. We are now in the postpartum room. The other room was definitely a lot nicer and bigger, but that's fine. So most people always say like, oh, you know, we'll be here for 24 hours or whatever. I think it just depends on your hospital and where you live. Protocol here is that you're here for 48 hours after delivery. So we get to go home on Friday, which is a whole 2 days away. And it's early right now. It's Wednesday morning at 7. It's about to be 7 because it's 1:45. So yeah, we basically have 2 full days here before we get to check out, if everything looks good. But yeah, like, she's literally an angel. She's sleeping right now and I'm actually obsessed. I was trying to fill you guys in earlier on some things that happened. I don't even know where I left off. But yeah, I didn't get the epidural. They did stop my Pitocin. After they cut it in half, they eventually stopped it completely, and the nurse was like, oh, this is all you, like, you're not on any medication, you're just breathing through these contractions, you're doing great, blah blah blah. And honestly, even up until the point where I was at 7 centimeters, I still felt like the pain was a solid 8 out of 10. So it was high, but it wasn't like extreme. But you know, they did that check. I think that check was at 1 a.m. and at 2 a.m. I felt like I was ready. Like, I felt like I was at 10 centimeters dilated and it was time to go. But I was like, I don't want them to come back in and then tell me that I'm not ready, because I'm gonna be annoyed. So I waited it out another hour until 3, and that was like the longest hour ever, because there was so much intense pressure and there was just like so much pain. I was twisting and turning, and like I was mentioning, because I had the fluid from the IV, I just kept like, because of the pressure, it was just so much fluid coming out that I just felt like I had no control over my body, in terms of like, there was just fluid, and I kept having to change my gown, change the sheets, get a towel, all that stuff. And at 3 o'clock I was like, okay. I buzzed for the nurse. When she came in, I was like, I'm feeling extreme pressure, can you please get them to check me? And they did, and they were like, yeah, you're ready. But I was very annoyed at the fact that it was multiple people checking me at a time, but whatever, we move. And now Kevin's here with breakfast and I'm excited because I'm starving. Alright, so I included the vlog portion of this video prior to the sit down chit chat style part of it. I know some people like to separate their labor and delivery vlog from the actual story of them talking through the process and everything like that, but from what I can recall, I didn't get that much vlog footage, but I did get a few things, so I wanted to have that before I sat down and tried to recollect everything that happened and just walk you guys through the whole thing. So at my 39-week checkup, I had my induction dates set for me because I was not showing any progress in terms of how dilated I was or anything like that. They did ask me before 39 weeks if I wanted to have my induction scheduled, and I said that I would wait until at least my due date, which was April 26th. So that was the date that my induction was scheduled for. It was technically starting at 11 a.m., but they like you to be there an hour before just to get everything ready. So I was supposed to be there at 10 initially, and before going in for my induction I was supposed to have some pre-admission lab work done as well as a COVID test. I was able to get the pre-admission lab work, like blood drawn and everything, before. I got that done on the Friday before my induction date. Unfortunately, the location that I went to, they weren't able to get my COVID test done, and all the other locations were really far away. So they said that I could just show up to the hospital an hour before, so technically 2 hours before my actual induction time. So I was supposed to be there at 9 a.m. now. So the method they told me they'd be using, they were going to insert a cervical ripening balloon, and what that would do is like thin out your cervix and basically get the process started. After that they would do cytotech, and then after cytotech they would move on to Pitocin. At 11 I had the nurses and the doctor come in and they were getting ready for everything, and once they inserted that cervical ripening balloon, my water broke. Literally as soon as they inserted it, my water broke, and they were like, you were probably ready to go anyway. So because my water broke, they did not do cytotech because they were saying it was probably just gonna come right out with all the fluid that was being lost. So that didn't happen. They just got me started on Pitocin shortly after. So they started the Pitocin, and the way it works is that they would increase the dosage a little bit. I don't remember what the time span was, but they would increase it, and that would just intensify the contractions. So not only was I having more intense contractions from the Pitocin, but my water also broke, so then my body was kind of doing its own thing, which made things, you know, pretty intense. And then also I felt like my contractions were coming in a little bit more frequently. Now I do think that I have a pretty high pain tolerance, so it wasn't like super unbearable yet, because as they were watching my contractions on the monitor, the nurse as well as like the trainee that they had, they both kept pointing out the fact that I was having contractions, but I wasn't like saying anything or like showing any signs of discomfort or pain or anything. They're like, that's a really big one, and you know, you didn't even flinch, whatever. So that was that. And I'm not sure if I should say this now or not, but my labor lasted for about 16 hours. So I was in labor for a pretty decent amount of time. At one point they reduced my Pitocin to like half of what it was once it got to like the max where they wanted it to be, just because my contractions were coming in so frequently and so much more intense. So they were just kind of like letting my body do its thing, so they reduced the dosage. And at some point they inserted a tube and they were pumping fluid back into my body just because my water had broke and I was losing so much fluid. And then also my nurse, shout out to Lydia, I don't know her last name, I said it in the video, but I wish that, you know, I had done at least one nurse's basket for her. She was my favorite, and unfortunately she wasn't there when I actually delivered because she was a part of the morning crew. Anyway, she had given me the wireless monitor so that way I could move around more freely, so I could go to the restroom without having to strap them like on and off every time. And then also I could bounce on the ball, I could walk around, do everything that I wanted to do. And I went into this process hoping to, you know, do it naturally. I did do a birth plan, and I put that in air quotes because I did title it birth preferences. The way I worded each point on my plan is that, you know, I made sure that it didn't come off as me necessarily dictating that this is how it must go. It just kind of, it was like, okay, ideally this is what I would like, but I understand that, you know, things happen and plans may have to change based on circumstances. In my plan, I did state that, you know, I'm aware that the epidural is available, but I will request it if I needed it. So I wanted to try and do this naturally. They had the anesthesiologist, I feel like I've been stumbling over that word, but they had that person come in, talk to me about all the options that they had for like pain medications. I also stated in my plan that if they are suggesting any type of pain meds, that they thoroughly explain it and they explain the pros and cons, and then I will go from there. And when my contractions were getting really intense and everything, and I was feeling a little bit uncomfortable, the only thing I asked for was Nubane, I believe. I don't remember if that's the exact name of it. If not, I'll have it on the screen. But basically what that did, or what that was supposed to do, it was supposed to make you sleepy. Essentially, it was supposed to help with pain a little bit and make you sleepy. For me personally, I felt like it only helped with pain for about 30 minutes. They did say that it should help for around 2 hours. I didn't get 2 hours from that. It literally was like the first 30 minutes was when I felt like it did something. After that, it just kind of wore off, but I didn't ask for it again because I was still feeling drowsy from it. And I believe they say after 2 hours is when you can get another dose. So it's not like I could have gotten another dose, and I don't think I would have anyway. Just because I felt drowsy, it just wasn't really easing the pain. But it was enough for me to go in and out of a nap a few times. So, you know, I took that, checked my cervix at around 1 o'clock or something like that, and it hadn't really progressed too much. They did let me know that they don't do the cervical checks too often. I believe she said it's because my water had already broke or something like that, but she said in a couple hours they will come in again and do another one. So that was, I think, around maybe 5:30 is when they checked again. And then at that point, I believe they had stopped my Pitocin. I'm not sure if it was exactly when they did that check or if it was shortly after. They were just letting my body do its own thing. So I had no pain medication in my system, basically. Like I mentioned, I had like the morning crew, different from the night crew. So at 7 p.m. I believe is when the morning crew left and the night crew came in. And honestly, I feel like the night crew was just a little bit much. It was a little bit all over the place for me. I think that was my least favorite part. It was a lot more people. I felt like there were so many different faces coming in and out of my room, just asking me the same questions over and over, just going over the same things, you know, and it was just, okay, y'all are doing too much. I know they were probably just concerned, but I also felt like I had quite a bit of people in training on that crew, and I didn't really love that either. Now, my experience overall, it wasn't terrible, so I'm not complaining, but I don't really love that. I felt like everything just kept being so repetitive. I felt like a lot of things were, it was just a little bit invasive, which, I mean, I guess the whole process is invasive, huh? But it was just too much at some points. Everything had to be done twice, like I said. So it would be like 2 nurses come in, or a doctor and somebody else, and they would be like, we're just gonna check on you, we're gonna check that this is going well. And so one person would check it and the other person would also check it, and they would be like, we just want to make sure. So at 1 a.m. on the 27th, I had a cervical check done and 2 people did it. So there was one person first and the second person afterwards, and they were like, we just want to make sure that everything's accurate. But anyways, I digress. So I had 2 people do my cervical check at 1 a.m, which is just like, okay. At that point, I would say the pain was around a 7-8, and I believe that's what I told the nurse as well, because she had asked me, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would I rate the pain, and I said it was about 7-8. So that was that. And then I felt like at 2 a.m. was when it just went straight to a 10, and I really wanted them to come back and check my cervix because I was feeling so much pressure, so much cramping. It was really intense, and I felt like I was ready, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I didn't want to call them too early, and when they got there, they said, oh, actually, you're not ready to go, because then that would have been such a bummer, because 2 people would have checked my cervix again, and then also I'm feeling so much pressure and cramping and everything down there. I just don't want to be bothered. Another thing that I didn't really love about my experience with my nurse for the nighttime is that she had me move around so much. Like, she would tell me to lay on my left side because the baby likes that side better, but then right after she would be like, actually no, turn back on your right side. Actually no, can you do this instead? Can you do that instead? At one point I did do all fours over the peanut ball, which she asked me if I wanted to try, and I was like, okay, sure, whatever. I wasn't opposed to trying that. I had that in my plan as well, that I would try on all fours or side lying if it would make the process a little bit smoother. So I did that, but when I tell you, that made everything feel so much more intense, and it caused me a lot more discomfort just being on all fours and swaying back and forth side to side. It was just a lot. But yeah, I did that for a little while. They did also have me use the peanut ball between my legs when I was on my side, just to kind of get things moving and get things going. Like I said, it was just a lot of moving around, and it would be like, okay, she would tell me to switch positions, and it was so much for me to do that. Like, it took so much out of me for me to switch from one side to the other side, and then as soon as I switched, she would have me switch right back, and it was really uncomfortable. I did not really like having been moved around so much. Felt like I was ready at 2 a.m. but I wanted to wait it out just a little bit because I just didn't want them to say I'm not ready, you know what I mean, because it would have just been too much. So I was able to stick through it for another hour, but I told myself that at 3 a.m. if they don't come back and check me, I'm calling them, because there is no way I'm not ready to go. For that hour, that was probably the most pain I felt the whole time, the most pressure I felt the whole time. It was just a lot. And so once it hit 3 a.m, I hit the thing for my nurse to come in. When she came in, I told her, I said, please call them to come check. Of course, 2 people, like I said, the first person went ahead and she did her check and she was like, okay, she's ready. The next person went, and of all the times that I've had a cervical check done, this one was the most painful. The others were uncomfortable but not painful, but this one was painful. When I tell you, this lady was reaching for my soul. She just kept going and going and going, and I was like, get this lady away from me. But anyways, she said to do a practice push. I did it, and then they were like, okay, it's time, let's get the ball rolling. And so I remember a flock of people came into the room and they were running around trying to get things in order, whatever the case is, and I started pushing at 3:05 a.m. The whole time that I was feeling discomfort, even when my contractions got really bad and I felt like I was at a 10, I was still not crying. I didn't start crying until when it was time to push, because of the fact that that check was so painful for me. And then also they pulled out the tube that they had that was providing fluid and everything. That was also very uncomfortable. I don't remember it being inserted like that far or that deep, or it being painful when it was being inserted, but the removal was very uncomfortable for me. I didn't really like that. And so after that practice push, I was feeling a lot of pain, and that's when I actually started crying, when they were like, okay, we're ready to go. I've heard this before, but they told me that the pushing that you're doing, you're using the same muscles as if you're going to the bathroom. It's a lot of pressure already down there, and you have to push and push. Basically, think of it like you really need to poop and you're constipated. I don't know if that's TMI, but that's almost what it feels like. They told me take a deep breath, hold the breath, and push. I remember having the nurse on one side and then Kevin on the other side, and I was holding his hand the whole time, because at this point I'm just crying hysterically, and I don't even cry. And maybe I was about 15 minutes in. I don't exactly remember the terms that they used, but I remember them saying to me that we need to get the baby out as fast as possible because her heart rate was dropping. And I was like, oh no. It was so much pain, it was so uncomfortable, and I was like, I can't do this. Like, I remember saying that. Like, I didn't believe it, but I remember feeling it. Like, as weird as that sounds, like I knew I could do it, but the pain I was in was almost overpowering that part of me that knew I could do it. And so I was like, I can't do this. I just started bawling my eyes out, and I was squeezing Kevin's hand. And I think at that point is also when my sister got emotional, because she was also in the delivery room. But yeah, that was a whole thing. Just thinking back on that now, it's making me kind of teary-eyed. I remember them saying to me that if we're not able to get her out as quickly as possible, they were going to use a vacuum extractor to help with delivery. And you know, that's just going to help to pull the baby's head out. And I remember thinking that, you know, if I wasn't in this much pain, or if I knew for sure that I could get her out quickly enough without her heart rate dropping too low, then I probably would have been more skeptical about that vacuum extractor. But in the moment, I just wanted her to be out and be safe, and I didn't want to take any chances. So they did it, and they were like, push. As soon as you feel that contraction, push on it. And then I remember before, you know, they would tell me to take pauses and everything, like after the 10, and I would, you know, breathe out and everything. This time they were like, keep going. The nurse was like, take another deep breath, keep going, take another deep breath, keep going. Like, there was no pause at this point, because the whole point was to just get her here and get her here safely and in the best health possible. That was it. We just kept pushing, and once the head was out, you know, at that point we just need to get the rest of her body out. I was in labor for 16 hours and I pushed for 22 minutes, and she was here, baby Aaliyah Black. And she was born on April 27th. Like I said, she weighed 6 pounds 5 ounces, and she is just perfect. That's my labor and delivery story for you guys. It's currently a week later that I'm recording this video. We got home 3 days after. That's the hospital policies, that they keep you for, well, technically they count it as 2 days, so they keep you for 48 hours if you have a vaginal delivery and everything went smoothly, and 72 hours if you did a C-section and everything's going well. So yeah, she passed all her checks at the hospital and everything, and we were able to come home on Friday. And so today she is a week old. She had her first doctor's visit with her pediatrician. Everything looks good and all that stuff. She's pretty much back up to her birth weight, because if you didn't know, babies tend to drop a few pounds, you know, from their initial birth weight, but it takes them up to about 2 weeks to gain that weight back. But she's pretty much already there. Recovery is going well for me personally. I cannot complain. I did not get any tearing, so there was no stitches. I don't have any complaints. I am doing really well. I don't have any swelling. My bleeding is not excessive. At this point, it's just incredible to me that my body was even able to go through all of that and come out looking and feeling as great as I do. But yeah, that was my labor and delivery story. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Definitely give it a thumbs up if you did. Leave me some comments down below if you are a mom to be. If you're not and you just enjoyed this video, enjoyed hearing about my experience and all that stuff, then definitely let's have a chat in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for all the love that you've shown me so far on my Instagram. You guys are amazing, and I really do appreciate it. That's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.